morning and welcome to Ireland AM on Virgin Media 1.
It's Wednesday the 7th of August. We hope you find you well. Here's what's on the way.
What a night it was.
Oh my God.
Paris and Portland Row. Kellie Harrington now a double Olympic champion. We're going to catch up with Sinead O'Carroll, who watched the historic win in Paris, and former gold medal winner himself, Michael Carruth. It's coming up. 7:15.
I think everyone just woke up singing Grace and just in really good moods this morning, isn't it? It's absolutely lovely. Now, for something completely different, as if buying a house isn't hard enough, you know how to make it harder? By not being married, apparently.
Are they allowed to buy houses?
Non-married people?
Unmarried people?
No, we're not. We're not allowed to do anything like that. We're going to find out why a little bit later on.
We're also going to be speaking to consumer expert Deric Cassidy from bonkers.ie at 8:45. If you have a money question for Dara, send us a WhatsApp 0896 111 111.
There was all stuff going on with the markets the other day or something, but it's all stabilised.
Yeah,
the world
that was
is
a bank
fine.
holiday Monday, so it didn't matter here.
The world is fine. The world is fine. Do you know what makes the world even better? It is, of course, Alan Hughes. Hi, Alan.
Look at
charming.
Now, from working at a checkout counter to becoming an X Factor sensation, the iconic Mary Byrne is going to be chatting to us about returning to her roots in a one-woman show. And we've got sweet and sour crispy chicken in the kitchen later on. Now, Deric is going to have a musical morning because he's down at the Fleadh. Good morning, Deric.
Yes, we have a proper musical morning coming your way. Welcome down here to the heart of Wexford Town, the home of Fleadh, Cheoil in 2024. Now, it is a cloudy, mainly dry start. We will once again see some scattered showers, but a return to sunshine later on today. So a little bit of seesaw weather action out there as we hit the hump of the week. Now, as we mentioned, Wexford Town is where we're at this morning, broadcasting live just on Monk Street here at the moment. This place awash with revellers into the early morning hours, I believe. So coming up later on this morning, we're off to break a tin whistle world record. We're going to be catching up with the local Lord Mayor, Wexford Camogie star Ursula Jacobs, all to tie in with Virgin Media's 2 gig full fibre broadband roll. Now available not only here in Wexford but right around the country at lightning fast speeds. So good news all round. And what, guys? Sorry, I'm humbling my words because I had a late one last night here. What a win for Kellie Harrington! Incredible, wasn't it?
I'm up this morning. But can you imagine being there as Kellie Harrington won?
Oh, down
Can you
there.
imagine being at the Fleadh?
The Fleadh
My
stopped
sister was there
for a couple of minutes, did it?
Unbelievable.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media 1.
Thank you, Mary. And a very good morning, broadcasting here from Monk Street in the heart of Wexford Town, the home of Fleadh, Cheoil in 2024. Coming up into the next hour, we're going to be meeting the local Lord Mayor as well as the build-up to a tin whistle world record breaking attempt. So that's all coming your way right across the morning. Anyway, we're just past 7 o'clock here together. Let's take an opening look now at how it's shaping up with Mark Armstrong with us on cameras. And out there, in fact, at the moment, it is a wet start across Galway through parts of Donegal into South Mayo there through Claremorris and into Ballyhaunis and Tiptown not escaping either, but elsewhere it looks like a good deal of cloud cover now, limited bright breaks on the menu and those moderate to locally fresh west to southwesterly winds. Now, right across today, in fact, it will be a struggle in terms of that sunshine. We will see plenty of hit and miss, well scattered showers as they trail around the country. As the day progresses, though, it will dry out. So return to some brighter spells as we finish out your Wednesday. Top values around 16 to 19 degrees, so it will be heavy and humid in some regions. Right across then into tonight, once again, it will be cloudy, some patchy light rain and drizzle to take us through those early morning hours. And we'll see an improving picture then as we tuck our way into your Thursday with overnight lows there back to 9 to 13 degrees. So that's how it's shaping up here in the heart of Wexford Town at the moment. Just about holding dry for now. We'll be back again live 7:35. We'll see you then.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media 1.
Now it's time to take a look at this morning's papers. We'll start with the Irish Times. The headline there: mother and baby home survivors paid $7 million to date. More than 450 survivors of mother and baby institutions have been given payments as part of a new redress scheme, which opened for applications in March.
The Examiner leads with over 5,000 die at hospital EDs in 5 years. New figures indicate that hospitals remain the only option for many families, despite commitments to boost community palliative care.
The Sun leads with Gardaí probe Harris family death threat. Sources said 2 disturbing Instagram messages are being taken, quote, very seriously, and Gardaí are working with the social media giant to find the owner of the account.
The Irish Independent leads with Kellie's golden moment. Boxing hero Kellie Harrington seals back-to-back Olympic gold medals in style.
And you can see her on the front of all the papers this morning. The Mirror says, "This one's for me." The Dubliner beat China's Wenlu Yang in the 60 kg women's final on a split decision, and hundreds of fans in Dublin's North Inner City went crazy.
The Herald go with a similar story saying, "Dublin in the rare old times." Harrington became the second Irish female boxer to win gold at the Games. That was in Tokyo 3 years ago, emulating Katie Taylor. But now she stands out on her own as a double Olympic champion.
The Daily Mail and The Star also lead with similar stories. Liberté, égalité, fraternité, immortality. Superstar boxer Kellie Harrington punched her way into history books last night after becoming the first Irish boxer to win back-to-back gold medals at the Olympics. That's a headline on The Star this morning.
Now, as you say, she features on the front page of every single paper this morning. And we've got the latest on Kellie Harrington's iconic win that made her a double Olympic champion.
We're going to sing Grace as well, obviously. Kieran's going to give us
I'm going to play the music.
and
you can do the singing.
We'll work it out.
Tell you what, Deric can do the
Deric can do the tin
from
whistle.
the Fleadh.
Perfect.
And you can sing.
Back with you in a
I will
minute
get the way.
on Ireland AM. You got to do something. Grace.
Last night saw Kellie Harrington take home a gold medal for boxing in the Olympics, bringing Ireland's total up to a record-breaking 7 medals.
We're 14th in the... Is it 14th or 12th?
I think we're 12th.
12th in the table
Just behind
overall.
Canada.
What?
We're ahead of Sweden, we're ahead of Hungary, we're ahead of Spain.
So weird. Joining us to discuss, it's former Olympic boxer Michael Carruth, and joining us from Paris is Sinead O'Carroll, editor of the Journal.ie. Thank you both so much for being here. A huge thank you to Sinead, because Sinead was recording her podcast, Olympics Daily, at like 1 a.m. last night. She's gotten up for us today. You were there. You were in Roland Garros watching this fight last night. How was it, Sinead?
It felt as momentous as it was, and it felt like a home fight for Kellie, which was just fantastic for her, particularly after Tokyo. And so to make history, become a double gold medalist in front of, like, I saw county jerseys from basically every county, tricolours everywhere, shouts of ole ole from like 15 seconds in. And then afterwards, of course, like, you know, songs, Kellie herself singing Grace with fans outside. It was a perfect setting for such a brilliant occasion. And for Kellie just to box it, no one was even worried, especially after the second bout. Everyone was just in second round, everyone was just in celebration mood. And when the flag started going up, she had her medal. She just let out this big sigh of relief. And she was just so happy. And I think that happiness just bled across the whole arena. And it was just such a brilliant, brilliant occasion. And then everyone started talking about Ireland being 12th. And so it felt like Kellie had given us that as well, that like Ireland are up there on the medal table, and everyone ahead of us, which was a great stat spotted by someone on Twitter after Brendan O'Brien tweeted it, was all the people above us have actually held Summer Olympic Games, which makes a big difference, because obviously once you hold the Summer Olympic Games, you put all the funding in, you have all the conditions around and all the structures around that you need. So we are doing very, very well to be up there.
Thomond Park for an Olympics. Be great.
I'll go away with you.
Be grand.
Bring the dart to Dingle. Michael Carruth is with us. Michael, you were nodding along there as Sinead mentioned that second round.
Yeah.
Was that key?
Oh, absolutely. Well, obviously, you had to get off to a great start, and she did get off to a great start. Every one of our fights, and all of our fights, like, she's won the first 2 rounds in every fight. So you can relax a little bit in the third round, although she didn't last night. She actually started it really positive again. So what she done was she broke the Chinese girl's heart, because she thought she was going to go on the back foot when she went on the front foot. And for the first 20, 30 seconds, Kellie attacked her. And then she could do what she wanted to do, because she took the fight out of her. And then the woman knew she was beaten. And other than landing in a super knockout punch, which she wasn't going to do, and Kellie wasn't going to get caught with that. Kellie became champion.
You were celebrating last night, obviously, like everyone, and well done. Thank you for coming into us this morning. You're as good as gold.
I behaved myself last night.
You did behave yourself last night. But seeing something like that, you know, double Olympic champion, Kellie herself has said how hard this cycle was. Had it been 4 years, she mightn't have made it.
Yeah.
You know, but she looked like she was in such spectacular form, but she likes to go into a bubble in relation to this. She's very good at like going, right, this is what I have to do.
She's very positive in everything. You know, when you look at her in training, if you look at her, you know, outside the training, she's, you know, everything is done very, very good with that she needs to do. She gets her head in a great place as well. That when, you know, inside your head, you can have demons. You know, oh, am I fit enough? Am I not fit enough? That doesn't apply with her. She gets it into a great position every time that she boxes. You look at our first 2 fights; they were absolutely phenomenal. The third fight was tough because she's fighting a former world champion in the professional ranks, and obviously beating semi-finalists or beating finalists were last time she boxed the Brazilian girl. Yeah. It was a tough fight. She came through it well, thankfully no injuries as well, and then she boxed absolutely sublime last night.
And she kind of announced this retirement effectively, you know, afterwards as well, which wasn't a huge surprise. There's talk maybe she might have fought a few nationals for the next couple of years.
Might be
tempted into a professional
might be the heat
fight.
of the moment that she said that as well, you know. Probably, you know, there's a World Championships going on at the end of the year as well, so maybe that could be her swan song as well, you know. So if she wants to, there's no better way of going out than she would last night, you know, double Olympic gold medalist. That's never done before in boxing.
And saying good night, Irene. I was like, go on, fair play. But you just said there, do you think she could be tempted into professionalism?
I wouldn't think so. Not at this stage of her age now. She's 34 years old as well. There's not too many people that'll beat her in the professional ranks either in that regard. You know, when you look at the girl that she beat in the semi-final was a world champion. You know, so she could go that way easily as well, but I think, you know, she's been fighting a long time as well, you know, so we can give her a little bit of a break and let her think about what she needs to do, and then don't be rushing and pushing her to do things, you know, because absolutely what she's done for female boxing and male boxing, like every young kid was watching that last night, not just girls, boys as well, and it's going to be a huge, huge plus for boxing clubs throughout the whole country. They're going to get inundated with kids wanting to become the next Kellie Harrington, you know.
And you've said, like, you know, you're in her shoes. You've won one gold. You've only won the one Olympic gold. You were the first one. I think we can all remember that. It was such a huge... It was a huge thing for the entire country, but this is something that's very personal to you, to your coaches and to your family as well.
It was 32 years tomorrow, it is, believe it or not.
When you won?
Yeah, I won my gold medal. You know?
Wow.
So it was a thing, like, I dreamt of becoming an Olympic champion. You know, I wanted to be Olympic champion so much. I went to my first Olympic Games at 21 years old, and I made bags of it, you know, because I was in the wrong weight division. And had I been probably in a right weight division, I'm not saying I would have won the Olympic Games, but I probably would have medals, you know, if I was in the right weight division. But ifs, buts and maybes, you know. But it's a long 4 years wait to get it right again, and I got it right the second time, you know. And to be the first Olympic champion in boxing was a huge moment for me, but more so my father and my family, you know, and my boxing club, Drimna, you know. So,
yeah, and you think of Drimna, you think of all those boxing clubs around there, and Neilstown and Green Hills and all those places, and how important it was. And you see that as well, don't you, last night around Portland Row and Diamond Park. It was amazing.
Yeah, and like again, this is going to push boxing again to another level. This is, you know, she's after winning a second Olympic gold medal, you know, the amount of kids that will be joining us, you know, we're back training tonight now, Drimna Boxing Club, because we had a little bit of a break there for a few weeks. You need a break, you know, and we're going to probably be inundated now with young kids, so we don't mind
there,
that.
actually.
Look at that there, yeah, it's just fantastic.
Which is just fantastic. But then you're kind of, you know, you're public property for the rest of your life because you're our Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
Is that, how does that sit in your shoulders?
Listen, the way I looked at it as well, it was just another fight sometimes for me. You know what I mean? Like, it's all right, I won an Olympic gold medal. She's after winning 2 Olympic gold medals. She's going to be in more trouble than me in that regard. You know what I mean?
She'll have to do Dancing with the Stars twice. My God.
Yeah, and whatever else she needs to do, you know. But it's phenomenal what she's done, you know what I mean? To keep it so focused and the way she boxed, I'm more proud of her, the way she boxed those 4 fights, you know, because she absolutely ran riot with them, you know what I mean?
Amazing.
And she was unreal.
So good.
Amazing. Sinead, what else can we expect from Team Ireland today?
So we have Jack Woolley out today in the Taekwondo. So Taekwondo is one and done. So he is out in his first bout, which is about 1 o'clock Irish time. 11 o'clock Irish time. And he had an unlucky time in Tokyo. He went out in the first bout. So he's 7th seed here, a little bit more under the radar than he was in Tokyo. So I'll be going along to that. And then this evening we have Rashida running her semi-final. She's got a really good draw. She's avoided the big guns, so the people who she'll be kind of looking to beat to get a medal. So she just needs kind of a good go around, come first, and hopefully get a good lane draw for Friday night for the final. So they're the big two things today. But we also have Stephanie and Leona starting in the golf as well. So they're out early in the National for their first of their 4 days.
Looking forward to all of that. We didn't even get to discuss the women's light show last night in the 200 metres. I'm sure there's plenty of opinions on Olympics Daily,
Blink
the podcast.
it, you miss it.
There we go. the podcast that Sinead is doing with Gavin Cooney. Olympics Daily is where you can find it. Sinead O'Carroll, thank you so much in Paris.
Thank
and
you.
Michael Carruth. She's going to be 2 gold medals by her, and you just have the one. You can compare when she gets back.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being with us.
And I'm not Spartan, I get lost.
Oh, there we go.
There's an idea, yeah.
Thanks, Michael.
And Michael, thank you. Now, after the break, who is Kamala Harris's VP pick?
We'll be finding out as we discuss the day's news stories after the break. It's like we've got an exclusive. Now, Taoiseach Simon Harris has said he will not be deterred from doing his job after it emerged that Gardaí are investigating an extremely sinister death threat against him and also his family.
Joining us with that story and everything else this morning is Jack Horgan-Jones, political correspondent from the Irish Times.
Good morning, Jack.
Morning.
So, Jack, this threat to him, what was the nature of it? And tell us a little bit about how long it lingered online before anything was done.
Well, it's an extremely dark and sinister threat. That's how the Gardaí characterised it yesterday, and we have some new details about what it entailed this morning. So it seems it was a comment on a post by the Taoiseach, but some of the references in there are extremely menacing. There was references to his wife and children, as we know, but there was also references to knives, to them being taken to the Wicklow Mountains, a warning to stay tuned in on that, and seemingly a second comment as well, which is the one that contained the reference to knives. And it does seem that these comments were up for a period of days and that there were complaints made. We know from the reporting yesterday there were screenshots being taken and circulated, and that the guards were in touch with Meta/Instagram, and that it doesn't seem to have the platform itself doesn't seem to have displayed any huge amount of urgency in taking it down. And in terms of their communications yesterday, there was a couple of one-line statements, but you know, the gravity of this, the seriousness of it, whether this is a realistic threat or not, the tone of it, the menace, and the threat to obviously his wife and children as well, doesn't seem to be kind of tantamount with the response that the platform has put in place against in relation to a threat against the head of government, a prominent politician, and his wife and kids.
It's quite interesting at the moment because anyone who's putting up sort of Olympic things, like that have official Olympic rings in them or whatever, it's taken down with almost 30, like it is taken down because it's going against trademark guidelines. There's money to be made here and you can't do this. But there's no money to be made here. This is a threat to life and they just seem to have abdicated responsibility. So I think we're getting to this stage where all this is happening to public people in our lives, that surely we as the public can go, you have to do something. This isn't good enough. Because it's happening to everyday people as well, like really threatening things happening. How are they allowed to just carry on like this?
Yeah, and look, it's an excellent...
It's publishing.
It's an excellent point that you make with regard to how swift they are when it comes to a commercial infringement.
Yeah.
You know, these are the biggest tech companies in the world. They have all the resources that are possible to imagine, and they can develop machine learning algorithms to intercept and detect a copyright infringement. But when it comes to a threat of violence, an explicit threat of violence, they don't seem to be anywhere near as quick.
No.
So I think that they need to sharpen up their act on this front. And I think that, you know, the coarsening of the political debate and the atmosphere and the environment whereby all of a sudden becomes acceptable to make these threats, you know, that these aren't extraordinary events, is part of what contributes to this, you know. So while there is a responsibility and onus very much on the social media companies, there's a responsibility and onus on users and everyone involved in the discourse to kind of try and stamp down on this stuff.
Yeah, and we've seen just in the UK some people who put incitement to riot online, they have gotten custodial sentences now, so it looks like they're going after them in the UK.
Speaking of sentences, so people will remember when Josef Puschke was sentenced, Judge Hunt at the time kind of was quite explicit in court when he was handing down the mandatory minimum sentence, the life sentence, that judges, it is well past time, I think some words along these effects, it is well past time that judges should be able to recommend a minimum term behind bars. And it looks like that's one step closer to reality.
Yes, so this is new legislation. We'll get the heads of bill today, and I suppose the effort will be to get it through the Justice Committee and on the statute books before the general election. This legislation will allow for judges to make a recommendation of a mandatory minimum term for life sentences. So life sentences obviously relate to murder and treason, but they can apply to other crimes, some assault, rape and so on. So this would allow, when the judge is sentencing, to effectively say, look, my recommendation is that no less of a term than X amount of years, 10, 15, 20 years, should be served. And the parole board will then have to be mindful of that when they come to make their assessment. Now, it does stop a little short of the initial version of this plan that was published in 2022, which would have been a kind of mandatory minimum, which would have been something that would have bound the hands of the parole board, and they wouldn't have been able to go against the original sentencing judge's recommendation. This is a kind of halfway house.
So your Josef Puschkes or your Grain Dwyers, after 12 years, they can still apply for parole under the current rules. That won't change. But the parole board now will have this with them, a recommendation that they serve, whatever,
yes,
20,
it'll be at
years.
the top of the file, and they'll have to be mindful of it all the way going through, but they won't be bound by it. They
could release them early.
They could release them, and ultimately the decision will lie with the parole board as opposed to the judge who originally passed sentence in the case.
As always, if there's anything you want to get in contact about, it's 0896 111 111. We're going to move to America right now, and a guy that we all heard about when he called Donald Trump and JD Vance weird has now become the VP pick for Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Tim Walz from Minnesota.
Yes, and a little bit of a surprise as well. So I think most people were tipping Pennsylvania's Josh Shapiro to be the VP pick because, for a whole range of reasons, but primarily because Pennsylvania is a hugely important swing state, whereas Minnesota, where Tim Walz comes from, is more than likely a blue state unless she gets absolutely hockeyed. So the thinking would be that, you know, it's much more important to get your swing states that are on the fence over the line, but she's gone for this guy, Tim Walz, who's he's a kind of...
Seems to be able to take on Trump.
Yes, exactly, and that's summed up in that weird comment, you know.
But isn't it funny that all the things that Trump is called, that being called weird is the thing that gets under his skin.
Gotten to him.
But some things
so
cut
simple.
through. Yeah, this is the nature of kind of political debate. Like it's not so much having this like laser-guided critique of all their policies. It's what voters pick up and remember.
Yeah.
And there is something a little bit weird and unsettling about Vance and Trump, you know. So anything that kind of mobilises your voters, or more importantly, mobilises people who might be on the fence, you know, maybe they are a little bit weird, maybe I won't vote for them. You know, these are the kind of things that have real political currency these days. He's this kind of straight-talking Midwestern guy who, even though he's not from a swing state, I think potentially a lot of swing voters will identify with. He is a high school teacher, I think, you know, high school football coach, National Guard, reservist. So, you know, he ticks a lot of boxes. And of course, you know, countering out the fact that she is a progressive black woman, he is an older, kind of centre-leaning Democrat, white male. So I think that was always on the cards.
Absolutely.
Speaking of weird stories, how did the Cork rowers get home from the airport?
This is bizarre.
How are we meant to believe that they came home from the
If my
airport?
dad was alive, he would have been up there. I'm telling you. Do you know the way dads love to go to the airport?
There are a whole convoy of dads just making their way from all parts of the country to Dublin Airport on the off chance that they get to bring home Ireland.
What happened to Fintan McCarthy and Paul O'Donovan?
So apparently they had no way to get back to Cork after the coming home with the gold medals, and they got chatting to someone on the plane who offered them a lift to Cork, and they had been intending to get the bus. I mean, I struggled to wrap my head around
The word
it.
apparently is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence.
You might say that I couldn't possibly comment, but like, you imagine them getting on the bus there with the gold medal on and everything.
Do you charge more? The 57 bags, kind of all that kind of stuff.
I've no room down below for those bags. You'll have to leave them here.
And where are the Olympic Council and all this? Like, should they not be arranging transport for?
Because they're going home to Skib to start getting ready for the World Rowing Championships that are taking place. I think they're starting on the 14th in Canada.
Yes.
So they actually have to go back into training straight away. But they were going to get the green bus, I assume, to Cork.
They're so organised they leave the Olympics early to get ready for training, but not so organised that they haven't thought of a lift home.
But as you would wonder, would they have to pay for the petrol with all that extra weight of the bags?
Oh, yeah.
No, surely not when you've won an Olympic gold
man
medal.
from the plane would be like looking for money for petrol.
Come on, lads. Come on.
Just the Revolut
Yeah.
20.
Go on. Who gives you the lift home for the airport? Do you still call your dad regardless what age you are? 0896 111 111, or do you have to get the bus or get the taxi? It's terrible. Love getting a lift from the airport.
Jack Organ-Jones, the Irish Times. Jack, thanks a million. What's up next, Alan?
Well, Kieran, coming up, would you get a mortgage with your mate? Well, we're looking into the legalities of buying a house with someone you're not married to. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us now as more couples are choosing not to get married and prioritising a mortgage over a wedding. Say nothing. There are some legal considerations to buying a property with a partner or even a friend.
Here to guide us all through the process of buying and owning a house with your non-married partner, or a pal maybe, is solicitor Elaine Byrne. Good morning, Elaine. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, a mortgage application process, for an awful lot of people who haven't been through it, it's, oh my God, what's happening here? Is there a difference if you're married or if you're buying it with someone you're not married to?
Yeah, so I would say, Maureen, there's not, because ultimately, I suppose the lending institution is just going to be concerned with what is your income, what are you going to be able to afford. So they're not going to mind if I'm married, if I'm not married. It's ultimately like, how much can you borrow and are you going to be able to pay this back?
Yeah, so both names are then on the mortgage. You need what we are calling here a co-ownership agreement. And you are saying this is vital if you are not married.
Yes, Alan. So this is just so important, and it just avoids so much hassle down the line. So if I'm buying a house and I'm excited and I'm signing my contracts, at the same time, I might sign this co-ownership agreement. And this is going to deal with, so like, how much have I contributed? How much has my partner contributed? Who's going to pay, the bills, the local property tax? And most importantly, say if down the line, if I want to sell, my partner doesn't, like, what happens? So we can deal with that when we're happy and in love and when we've signed our co-ownership agreement. So we can say, OK, maybe we'd go to our local estate agent and he would value the property. And the first option would be to my partner to buy out my interest, and he has X amount of time. But if he can't come up with the money, then maybe we put it on the open market. But in the absence of a co-ownership agreement, we've nothing to go back to, and we don't want to go to court.
It's not a legal requirement to have one?
No, it's not.
OK.
But who organises that then? Do you have to say, when we're doing this, like with your partner, let's get a co-ownership agreement?
With our solicitor?
With our solicitor or with who?
Yeah, so it's with the solicitor. And ideally, even for it to be really binding, we might even have our own separate advice, so that, Alan, you can't say, oh, Elaine, you're putting me under pressure. But it's done at the time. And I think a lot of people aren't aware of it because, they're signing contracts. But at that same time, I really think it's so important to consider this co-ownership agreement.
Because this could also be in place for some people who are friends, not even in a romantic relationship, who are deciding to do this because it's so hard to get houses now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, as a single person.
Yeah, exactly.
So can I ask you, is there two different types of co-ownership agreements?
Yeah, so there's, say, kind of a co-ownership agreement, which is quite straightforward. And it's, we'll say, Alan, if you and I are buying a house, it would just relate to the house. And it's whether we're a couple or, say, business partners.
Gotcha.
And it's quite straightforward. There's another agreement then called a cohabitation agreement. And this might be maybe for an older couple and say, you know, I've my own property, or we've kind of a blended family, and it's a more complex agreement, and it would cover, you know, other property and children. And it's kind of like a prenuptial agreement, but it's legally binding. I would say for we'll say, you know, if there's such a thing as a regular couple or a young couple buying their first home, just do the co-ownership agreement.
Co-ownership agreement.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say you get together. You've put your names down. You get the mortgage, and you're living together, but you're not married, and one of the couple dies. Where's the legal situation in that?
So this is the huge difference between being married and being not married. So if I'm married, I can have a fabulous house in Dublin 4 worth a couple of million euro. It can pass to my husband, no tax. Fantastic. If we're not married, tax is an issue. So actually my partner...
Even if you've been living there and your name is on the mortgage, can you not just continue to live in the house?
Well, you can, but you'll have to account to the tax man. You'll still have a tax bill.
Really?
Yeah. So there is... Now, there is an exemption. It's called dwelling house exemption. So if we just have, but like the strict criteria. But generally, I can say my partner, my not married partner, can get 16,250,000 tax-free. And anything above that will be subject to tax at 33%.
Inheritance tax?
Inheritance tax.
So even if you've willed the house to, say, your two... you know, non-partner, your friends, and one of you passes away, and you've willed the house to the other person who you own it with, or your partner, or whatever, you are still going to have to pay inheritance tax if that person dies.
Yes.
But that's only if you sell the house, surely. But if you just decide to live in that house for the rest of your life, you're just paying the mortgage, surely.
No.
But Alan, the tax man will still want to. So if
you've inherited their part of the house.
So if we own the house,
that's disgraceful. But you're paying the mortgage. You've signed a mortgage together. You're living there. Your partner dies. Through all that grief, you decide, well, I'm going to stay in this house. That's our house. I pay the mortgage the rest of my life, but I still have to pay tax on it, inheritance tax.
Yes. Yeah. Because, you know, say if you and I own the house, like you have your half, but I've left my 50% share to you, so you've inherited my 50% share. So notwithstanding that you're still going to live there, you've still an inheritance. Now, you could get the dwelling house exemption if you don't own another property and if you continue to live in it. So there is a bit of light.
0896 111 to get in contact on this if it's something that is shocking. Really quickly, say you're in a relationship, you're not married, you're going your separate ways, there's children involved.
Yes.
That's got to be real complicated with the house, is it?
Yeah, look, I suppose in that circumstance, it's going to always be about the children, you know, because they have to be put first. So it might be a thing that, you know, there's an agreement that the house wouldn't be sold maybe until the youngest child is 18 or something like that, you know, because at the moment, as we were just chatting about, it's so hard to find a house. But again, you could refer back, you know, if you've your co-ownership, or maybe in that circumstance, you know, the second agreement that we mentioned, the cohabitation agreement, might be more relevant, but it is going to be about the children.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go, Mary Byrne. Thank you so much this morning. I know. It's not even 8 o'clock, and he doing that face. Mad.
Listen, thank you so much for coming in. Now, still to come, the marvellous Mary Byrne stopping by for chat.
Plus, Deric's trying out some tin whistle tunes at the Fleadh. We'll talk to you shortly on Ireland AM.
This week on Ireland AM, we have teamed up with Tipperary Crystal to give away an amazing prize to one lucky viewer. Tipperary Crystal is honoured to support the Irish Olympics team for 2024. In celebration of this partnership, we are thrilled to announce an exclusive giveaway. One lucky winner will receive a €2,000 Tipperary Crystal voucher, which can be spent on tipperarycrystal.ie. Perfect for indulging in our exquisite collection of jewellery, homeware and gifts. Join us in cheering for Team Ireland and experience the elegance and quality of Tipperary Crystal. Enter now for your chance to win and bring the renowned quality of Tipperary to your home. For your chance to win, just answer this question. In what city is the 2024 Olympics held? A. Paris or B. London? To enter, call 1550 999 333 or text WIN to 57199. Best of luck!
Good luck with that one. It's time now to take a look at this morning's papers. We're going to start with the Irish Times, the headline there. Mother and baby home survivors, they're paid €7 million to date. More than 450 survivors of mother and baby institutions have been given payments as part of a new redress scheme, which opened for applications just this past March.
The Examiner leads with over 5,000 die at hospital EDs in 5 years. New figures indicate that hospitals remain the only option for many families, despite commitments to boost community palliative care.
The Sun leads with Gardaí probe Harris family death threat. Sources said 2 disturbing Instagram messages are being taken very seriously, and Gardaí are working with the social media giant to find the account owner.
The Irish Independent leads with Kellie's golden moment. Boxing hero Kellie Harrington seals back-to-back Olympic gold medals in style.
The Mirror goes with this one's for me. The Dubliner beat China's Wenlu Yang in the 60 kg women's final on a split decision, and hundreds of fans in Dublin's North Inner City went crazy.
Yes, the Herald go with a similar story, saying Dublin in the rare old times. Harrington became the second Irish female boxer to win gold at the Games. That was in Tokyo 3 years ago, emulating Katie Taylor. But she now stands out on her own as a double Olympic champion.
The Daily Mail and The Star, they lead with similar stories. Liberté, égalité, fraternité, immortalité. Superstar boxer Kellie Harrington punched her way into history books last night after becoming the first Irish boxer to win back-to-back gold medals at the Olympics. That's the headline on The Star.
I think the Herald get it for Dublin in the rare old times this morning.
Dublin.
Dublin.
It's very, very good.
Because the other one, Liberté, I didn't know what the rest of the words were.
You leaned into the immortality this time.
I did.
You were a bit nervous.
The first time I was like,
you kind of
am I going to
mumble the end of the sentence?
I said, let's just rhyme. Yeah.
Dublin in the rare old times is a good one.
Very good.
The welcome home will be just spectacular for her down in Portland Road.
Yeah.
And all the inner city down there. Just amazing. The flags when you're passing by everywhere, just flags everywhere. It's amazing. And so many texts in this morning. So happy for Kellie Harrington. So well deserved. It's been a great Olympics for Ireland. All the athletes are a credit to our country. And we were saying, still might be 1 or 2 medals, maybe? Still,
yeah. Zach Woolley starting. The
Rashida
today. And of course, Rashida racing thter on this evening. I love the way these people put in, and I mean, so much training, the hours, the weeks, the things that they have sacrificed. And we're like, sure, aren't Ireland doing great? Sitting there, drinking our tea at home, eating our biscuits, going, aren't we doing great at the Olympics?
12th in the medal table.
12th.
It's amazing.
12th in the medal table.
Bridget, as Bridget says, for such a small country, our athletes are world class. Congratulations to Kellie. An inspiration to all young people. Fantastic.
Really are,
this story, though, about Paul O'Donovan and Fintan McCarthy.
I know. Will Kellie be able to get home from the airport?
How will she get home? She'll have to just find someone on the plane to give her a lift.
I think she'll just be
the
aloft.
Olympic Committee had something organised for them.
Sorry, this
Okay,
story.
what happened?
So they apparently flew home with their medals and all of their stuff from the Olympics, and they had no lift back to Cork. Then they were getting back to go back training for the World Championships, and they had to ask somebody on the plane to give them a lift.
Well, no, the person on the plane started chatting and said, "Come here, can I give you a lift?"
Stop.
But these
well
2 heroes arriving in with their gold medals from the Olympics and then said, yeah, we've to get the bus to Cork. Like, surely something was organised for them. If there wasn't, if that was an oversight, that's absolutely shocking.
I don't believe a word of that.
Of course you don't. Helen said, listen to him now, Mr. Skeptical, you think I'm bad. The 2 rowers getting a lift with the passengers is the most Irish thing I've heard in a long while. If they'd gotten the bus, though, the medals would have been passed around to everyone. Like all our athletes, Paul and Fintan, seem like great young lads. I think Olympic medals, on a night out, if you're in a place where it's passed around to everybody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like the Rose of Trelease tiara.
100%. You've got to have a goal.
We've all worn it. We've all worn it.
Give us a go with that.
Give us a go. Give us a go. 0896 111 111 to get in contact. And we hope that Fintan and Paul got home safely anyway, is all that we wish. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the number if you want to get in touch.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
0896 111 111.
There you are. 0896
Yes.
111 111.
Now, up next from Life in the Tills, taking to the stage, our next guest has lots of life stories to tell.
That's right. The wonderful Mary Byrne will be here after the break to tell us about her new one-woman show. We'll see you back here very shortly. Our next guest became a national treasure when she first shot to fame on X Factor in 2010, and since then she's wowed the world with her musical talent.
These two are just having a gossip. I'm just like, are you just...
Not only Ireland, the world.
You just joining us to talk to her on X Factor is singer Mary Byrne.
Good morning, Mary.
I'm knackered.
You're only off a plane.
I'm only off the plane from Tenerife. Now, I'm after having two weeks of a beautiful holiday, but 2 hours sleep. Bags under the eyes, excuse me.
You
Come
look
and see me.
fantastic.
The bags will be gone. when
You
I'm on
look
stage.
fantastic. Was it a good holiday?
It was a brilliant holiday, yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it now. Very warm.
Yes.
But you
And I
don't
was
mind
very
that.
sweaty.
I'd imagine that was it.
And there was a lot of...
The fans.
There was a lot of going in and out of the places where there was air conditioning.
Yeah, I love that on a
we won't
holiday.
say where.
Where could that possibly be?
Yeah, where would that be? Were
Where could
beverages sold
I
in these
don't
places?
know.
I wonder.
I don't know. Well, you had your holiday because you're
Yes.
gearing up for something very, very, very big. So this is your one-woman show, Check Me Out, and it's going to the Olympia.
It is. I mean, that's the end. It's kind of the end of what I dreamt of. Never in my life. I sang in the Olympia once, but never did I ever think that I would be going back to the Olympia to tell my life story and sing.
Because this is
I
what the
can't
show
believe it.
is. It's Check Me Out.
It's Check Me Out,
I
yeah.
saw it and it's I bawled my eyes out.
What?
So tell us
about
because people might realise this is your story from Ballyfermot through X Factor, just stroll through stories and songs.
Yes, I start off from the time I was born, where I was born.
Yeah.
The front bedroom, my mother's, in Kylemore Drive. And then I go to the 70s when I was very well developed. And I was 12 and I left school and I got my first job. And then I go right back to where I met the first love of my life, to the girl that I had the affair with, which we had a great time. I'm not going to deny that. Let me tell you that out straight. No regrets there whatsoever. Just wasn't for me. So it goes from that, and then that's a whole hour of me talking and laughing, and I tell certain things that I shouldn't tell.
It's more than an hour.
The first hour.
Oh, the first hour. Oh, yeah.
The first part of it is an hour long, but it's laughter, it's tears, there's music, and there's me wearing my heart on my sleeve and just being totally honest with the people that I'm sitting in front of. And then the second half is my journey to the X Factor and the music from the X Factor and the laughter and the things I did, the people I met, Tom Jones. Anyway, sorry. Well, he is. I don't care if he's 80 or odd. I still would. If I had 2 new knees, I would throw one of them over.
I don't know.
Only one of them.
Yeah, because the other one you'll get done next year.
She's only got one done.
You only need the one to throw over, love. It's fine. So I swear to God, these knees, the things you would do if you had these knees sorted.
I know.
So this story, like the Check Me Out, is that a play on words?
It is. Well, obviously
Tesco.
I worked in Tesco.
Yeah.
And other supermarkets are available. I worked in Tesco and I was always on the checkout.
Yeah.
And it was Rob Murphy, lunatic that he is, who, directed and wrote the whole thing, decided that was what he was going to call it, Check Me Out. And there's one particular photograph that we don't show anymore because I said, don't show it. I'm all done up. I'm beautiful with a basket on my hand and a mic in me.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's it. It's Check Me Out, Mary Byrne, Check Me Out, and that's it. It's the pun on working in Tesco's.
But Mary, I have to say, when I did see it, I've known you for years, but there was stuff in that show that I didn't know about because
there's a lot of people say that.
We've chatted many times on this show over the
Yep.
years, but you do really, as you say, put your heart on your sleeve
Yep.
and you open up, and I think a lot of people didn't know stuff about you. But then after the show came to you and sort of said, I've gone through that and thank you for talking about it.
Yeah, and a lot of, I go out and I meet the people after the show. I always do. And I get shocked when people come and say, you're an inspiration, first of all. And then they say, such and such a thing that you spoke about there, I can relate to that. And some women come and cry to me and say, I got exactly where you were coming from in that moment that I'm talking about. And it's great because I tell you, if it can help one person to realise they're not on their own, and that the way to get better is to go out and ask for help. If that happens to one or two people in that audience, then I'm very honoured and very proud to be a part of that.
In things that you've talked about in your life, whether it be depression, whether you kind of not wanting to be here anymore, that's something you've said before.
Twice.
Not wanting to be here before. And now you're at a stage where you're able to get on a stage and talk and sing and dance about it. How does that feel when you kind of look back?
The only way I can describe it to you is the person you're seeing now is the real Mary Byrne. This is what I used to be like before the depression hit really hard.
Yeah.
And I'm bubbly. I don't care anymore. I'm 64 years of age. I've bags under my eyes, and I couldn't give two bananas. I am who I am, and I'm being accepted for that. And that is the most wonderfulest feeling that any human being can get when they felt that they've never been accepted in life. And I've always felt like that because I am one of the worst people for criticising myself and putting myself down, because that's what that kept telling me. And now that I'm on this path and this show it's a therapy for me. I've never, ever admitted certain things to myself till I start doing this show. Why I am the way I am. I now know why I am. I don't want to say it on national television. I will say it on the show. I know now where all my depression comes from my childhood, from certain things that went on in my life. And it's nobody's fault. It's not my parents' fault. It's not my family's fault. It was life back then, and it's life now.
And can you see something, Mary, that changed that for you? Because, I mean, we have spoken to you about some of your darkest moments.
I've been up and down.
And you've been up and down. And you're saying now, this is Mary Byrne now. This is the real Mary Byrne. Where was the turning point for you? Or was there one or two
There's a
moments?
couple of things. There's a couple of things. I mean, the show obviously has been a huge help to me. And when I went into this show, I didn't realise it was going to be a therapy for me. But each night when you're talking to people and then you get people coming back to you, those people are helping me as much as I'm helping them. There's a couple of turnabouts. One is, and this is, I don't care who puts me down when I say this, I started taking CBD oil with my antidepressants. Now, CBD oil is not, you don't get high on it.
No.
And I started taking it, I'm 4 months on it. I've never felt better in my life. My anxiety levels are down here. The molehill is staying as the molehill. But 2 years ago, when I had, 4 years ago when I had another breakdown, I think when I went to a counsellor and when I admitted that it was me and not the people around me. And I think that was the turning point.
Wow.
And then it was a slow process from that up to now. But I've never felt better. And I get me days when I feel a bit pain in my backside, feeling like this, you know. And then I just think, shake yourself up, for God's sake. You're 64 years of age, you're doing your own one-woman show. You've got the best people around you. And that's what I do every morning. I talk to the wall. I do a Shirley Valentine every morning. Good morning, I say. How are you feeling today? A little bit down. Well, get your ass together and get out and go for a walk.
Love it.
Isn't that the way to start it?
amazing,
Talk to yourself into positivity.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I absolutely love that.
And you have to do it.
You feel like you are buzzing. There's one thing that I love that you say, and it's about labels. You're 64 years old. You've done things in your life, you know, X Factor. We'll lash that label on you. You mentioned there about the relationship that you had with a woman. Obviously, you've been in relationships with men before, and you're like, I am a person. I don't. And a lot of people say, oh, younger people, they don't want these labels. It's everyone. You don't agree with labels.
No, I don't agree with labels. I think every single human being, no matter what gender they are, no matter what they want to be, is entitled to be like that. Without all of us put a pin there, you're like that person there. You're like, I'd love to say it on television, the F word, but I won't.
No,
say it on the show.
No, I won't. I'll say it on the show. But I just feel like that. It angers me to see that so many human beings who are just trying to live a life that means something to them are not allowed to do it because we pick a label up and we stick it on them and we make them feel that they don't fit in. Forget about that. Be who you want to be. Get your ass out there. Be the person you feel you want to be and be happy. We all deserve love.
First thing in the morning every day.
Oh, telling you, we certainly do. Now, can we add, like, obviously X Factor was a big turning point for you, and like we had Simon Cowell here, last week again, looking for the new boy band. And of course, your whole experience, but like, you had a very positive experience out of that to some extent, but not everybody gets a positive experience out of those shows.
I think, from when I was on it, I remember watching the kids, the younger kids. And I remember them thinking that they were stars, that they were going to be big stars. And if they weren't going to make it big stars, they were going to just fall back down. And for me, I was 50. I went on it not even thinking I'd get into the lives. I went right... But they gave me so many chances. Simon Cowell and Louis Walsh gave me so many... I mean, I forgot my words about 50 times in different parts of the thing. I mean, in the judges' houses, I went up and I started singing to Louis. And there's me and Si. I went up and I started singing to Louis and Sharon Osbourne. And I forgot the second line, so I started rhyming. I forgot my words, and I sang the whole... And then the second song...
They obviously saw something in you.
I don't know.
Well, you were the one person that Louis didn't mention you when he was in Big Brother. He didn't say a word about you.
You see, myself and Lou, you know, like we go out... No, Louis, look at... I get on... I'm very... We've had our talks, and I'm very proud of Louis himself. Yeah. I'm proud that... The only thing that, as I said to myself, was he shouldn't have brought names into it. But that's besides the point. He was popular. He got where he got because he is who he is. And I'm proud of him. And I love him to bits.
He's great to watch.
Great to watch.
He was great to watch.
Well, look, as I said, I've seen the show. Check me out. I was bawling, crying. It's a roller coaster of emotions, and you're brilliant in it. It's on in Bray this Saturday, then Naas, and then the big one in the Olympia Theatre.
Yes, get your tickets for the Olympia, or I'll go out and I'll find you.
August the 20th.
Ticketmaster.ie, yeah.
August the 20th.
August the 20th.
Thanks
in the
for having
Olympia.
me.
Mary Byrne.
Headlining the Olympia, love it.
Lovely to talk to you. Great to have you.
Talk to you, Tim. Thanks very much for having me.
So good to have you.
Now, Deric has been soaking up the best of traditional music all morning.
He certainly has. Why? Because he's at the Fleadh, Cheoil in Wexford.
And we believe he's about to get his whistle out. Deric, how's it going?
I'm about to get the whistle out, guys. Absolutely. Welcome down here to Wexford Town. The home of Fleadh 2024. Fleadh Cheoil here. Catherine, good morning to you, Catherine.
Good morning, Deric.
How are you?
We're great. Thanks a million for coming.
It's great to be here. Catherine, I was walking around here last night, as I said to the mayor, there's a fantastic atmosphere down here in the town.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's like Fleadh fever. It's unbelievable.
This is obviously the first time Wexford has hosted the Fleadh. What does it mean to the town?
It means absolutely everything to all of us who are musicians and the locals. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people come here from all over the country, right?
All over the country, from all over the world, actually, to the Fleadh. And musicians, parents, kids, it's just the home of music here.
Catherine, you are a teacher by trade, and in fact, you travel right around the county teaching.
I do. I teach uilleann pipes, whistle and flute, and I go to all the schools, to all kids like this. I have students here, and it's a pleasure.
I mean, you take them from beginners all the way up to advanced. So you get them, I suppose, at an early age.
Once they can read, we teach them. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us about then the Fleadh. There's so many events happening here over the coming week as well. So many live performances.
Live performances on the gig rig. George has been on there. He's amazing. Our Lord Mayor, and my twin sister's actually vice chair of the Fleadh committee.
So keep it in the family, right?
Keep it in the family. She's brilliant. And oh look, there's so many. We've the dome up there beside Wexford Park, Travis Wexford Park, and look at there's stuff on everywhere.
Now, there's something massive happening here tomorrow. Tell us what's going on, Catherine.
We are doing an official Guinness World Records attempt for the most tin whistles in Chadwick's Wexford Park tomorrow at 4 p.m. We'll be there for 3:30.
For 3:30.
For 3:30. So we're calling for all the people to come. Loads have registered. We need more than 1,015 whistlers.
Yes. Now, I believe the record was set out on the islands, in fact.
In Achill Island in 2012, yes.
Yes.
So we are going to beat it.
Are we going to beat it, guys? You're very confident. So how many do you actually need, Catherine?
We need more than 1,015.
Okay.
So we have loads registered, but we need everyone, all the musicians, all the whistlers, to come to Chadwick's Wexford Park tomorrow at 3:30. It's on at 4.
Of course, Wexford is home to the Guinness Book of Records, right?
Castlebridge is home to the Guinness World Book of Records. It was born there, I think, in 1951, and there's loads of Castlebridge whistlers here. We're from all over the county, but yes, and the official adjudicator tomorrow is going to be the editor-in-chief of Guinness World Records, Craig, and he's on his way here at the moment. And
so he's flying over to be here tomorrow for the event.
He's on his way at the moment. He's the official adjudicator tomorrow, yeah.
Now, as we mentioned earlier on, you are a teacher and you have lots of your students here behind us this morning, including Ava. Ava, how long are you playing now?
I've been playing the whistle since I was 7. I started in primary school, and I've been playing the pipes for 3 or 4 years now.
And the pipes, quite a tough, quite a difficult instrument to play?
At the start, yeah, but you get used to it after like a while.
And in fact, you're competing now at national level, right?
Yeah.
So tell us what you're in.
I'm in the 12 to 15 slow air pipes, and I'm in the 12 to 15 just pipes, like.
And what does it mean for you to be down here at the Fleadh then? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm loving it.
What do you love about it?
Just everything. I love the music, and I love seeing everybody enjoying themselves and dancing and just all of it.
Now, we've another young man here. Tell us who you are and what you play.
I'm Pádraig, and I played tin whistle and the yelling pipes as well. So.
Yeah, now Pádraig, I believe you're in a young band, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in a band now. We only started there recently, so.
And you're kind of gigging around the town?
We're doing a few bits, yeah.
Doing a few bits of bobs and earning a few bob. And I believe you're a bit of a whistler yourself, are you?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, so do you want to give us a go with the whistle? Should we hear Pádraig give us a go with the whistle? Okay, Pádraig, off you go.
Unbelievable. Oh, he's so talented, that chap.
You're a teacher as well, aren't you?
No, I'm not Pádraig.
No. Oh, you're not Pádraig. No. Okay. Anyway, you've been teaching me here this morning, and we're going to play the tin whistle, and we're going to do something very simple, right?
Well, you've been really good this morning. So we're going to do Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Okay, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Okay, now, all right. Now, no pressure here on live TV. I've never played the tin whistle before, but you were telling me it's all about the low D to start, right?
Yes.
To get the low D.
So low D is really hard. And he gets it straight away. Well done, Deric. Brilliant.
Okay, you ready?
Are we doing Mary Had a Little
Lamb?
Yeah,
let's do it, yeah.
So, starting on B.
Okay.
Oh my God, sign you up.
Sign me up. Anyway, you're going to play us out with a gorgeous tune. What is it?
We are going to, this is one of our tunes. We're playing 2 tunes tomorrow, The Dawning of the Day and The Boys and Girls of Wexford, and we're going to play The Boys and Girls of Wexford.
All right, at 3, a 2, August ahen, take it away.
That's lovely, isn't it?
Can we join in that world record attempt from here tomorrow? Because Mirren said she's going to give it a go. Have you got your whistle at home?
You literally said,
Yes.
I could learn that by tomorrow.
I think I could learn that by tomorrow. They're looking for 1,015 people, over 1,015 people, to do the world record attempt. Thank you to everyone who is there. So there's just 2 songs that you can learn, and then they've got a brand new world record. And I didn't know that the Guinness Book of World Records came from Wexford either.
Born in Wexford, yeah.
No. Huge congratulations.
Anyway,
Fabulous.
Up next, the best savings rates to maximise your money power.
Deric Cassidy, I'm sure you'll have his whistle as well from Bonkers. We'll be here to answer your questions.
See you back here very shortly.
Tin whistle. What are you welcome back. We are going to talk some money questions, what we're going to do with Dara Cassidy from bonkers.ie. Hello, Dara. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you.
People can send in their questions if they want. 0896 111 111. We're going to start with just savings deposits, everything that's going on. And leading digital bank N26, it slashed its deposit rates. What does this mean? What is N26?
Yeah, well, N26 is a German online bank, so it's kind of like the German version of Revolut, and they've begun to lower their savings rates. So savings rates, thankfully, have increased over the past 2 years, both in Ireland and the Eurozone, because interest rates increased. But what people probably remember is that in June, the ECB began to decrease interest rates, which led to a bit of a decrease in mortgage rates, which we all think is great, we all think it's brilliant, but we kind of forget that that also means that, unfortunately, when mortgage rates go down, savings rates usually go down as well. And up until recently, savings rates in Ireland, because of the competition, had been kind of holding firm. In fact, with some banks that are even beginning to increase, but I kind of think that is now over, and N26 is first out of the blocks to start reducing its savings rates. And what I'm trying to say to viewers is, if you have savings, try put your money to work now, because those good savings rates are not going to be around, I don't think, for much longer. And just quickly with N26, for example, they were offering up to 4%. Now they've reduced that to 3% if you have its top tier metal account. And if you had a standard account, it was offering 2.8%. Now it's offering 1.7%. So that's a pretty big reduction. And my fear is that the other banks, AIB, Bank of Ireland, they're going to follow suit over the coming months.
And will the ECB cut rates again?
I think they will. So in June, they cut rates by 1/4 percentage point. They held them steady at their last meeting, but I think they'll probably cut rates at least once more before the end of the year, maybe in September, and they could do it actually twice. It'll depend on the wider economy, inflation, but I would suspect, yes, that they're going to cut rates at least once more. And as I said, we always think that's great from a mortgage point of view, because lending rates are going down. Oh, isn't that great for first-time buyers? But we forget that it's kind of a double-edged sword, because it does mean that savings rates are going to go down as well.
So the bank always wins is a cliche for a reason, because a huge amount of people here in this country don't have their money in savings accounts that are making good interest. They also then weren't getting the mortgage, like it wasn't being passed on.
Yeah.
So the bank is winning kind of all the time if we are reticent about moving our money.
Yeah, we're reticent, but that's on us. That's not on the bank. So at the moment, Irish households have over 150 billion resting on deposits. That's a huge amount of money. It's never been higher. Now, look, not everyone has money on deposits. I get that. Some people could have 50 or 100 grand. Some people could have zero. But we've never had, as a nation, more money on deposits. But about 90% of that 150 billion or so is in accounts that pay practically zero interest, despite the fact that rates of up to 3% and above are still available. And this is one of the reasons why the Irish banks are so profitable. So I always say, if you don't want to do it for yourself, fine. But people get so annoyed in Ireland when they see banks making money. And I'm like, one of the reasons they're making money is because savers are doing nothing. Because AIB is like lending to people at 4%, 5%, and it has all of the savers' money. And even though it's offering up to 3%, because nobody has moved the money, it's paying practically zero. So they're delighted with life at the moment.
And there's a couple of things. I think people are kind of reticent, partly because they think it's a huge amount of work and admin and kind of financial admin, which is off-putting for people. And the other thing that I think puts people off is the idea you can't get access to your money. People they like the comfort of knowing if I go down to the bank, I can get it.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. We actually did research. So bonkers.ie did research with Red Sea a few weeks ago to look at the reasons why people aren't moving their money. And one of the main reasons is, I don't want to lock my money away. Other reasons were, I don't know, there's higher rates out there. There are. Others were kind of like, I'm too lazy. It seems like it's too much hassle. But a big reason that around maybe 25% of people said why they hadn't moved their money was because I don't want to lock it away. What I would say, though, is that you don't have to lock your money away for like 2 years, 3 years, 10 years. With some of these rates, you're only locking your money away for maybe 6 months to a year. I'd argue that year can come around very, very quickly. Now, sometimes people will think they'll need instant access to the money, but quite often, like even if you're buying a house, I mean, the house buying process can go on quite a long period of time.
Yeah,
so even not being able to access your money,
just gaslighting her now. That's kind of a bit unfair.
It isn't the end. But I would say though, I mean, Bunk has 3.36%. It's offering that is instant access. N26, yeah. So they are a Dutch online bank, so kind of like the Dutch version of Revolut.
Okay.
So we've had Revolut, the German version of Revolut, and the Dutch version.
Okay.
I know there's a lot of names being thrown around, but they're offering 3.36%, and that's an instant access rate. So you pretty much have instant access to your money.
And traditional banks are doing it as well, that you, or would you have to put it away for 3 years?
Yeah, they're a little bit more, you kind of have to lock your money away.
Okay.
They're a little bit more like that. But PTSB has one now where you get all your interest up front. It's called Interest First. I thought that was quite nice. That's 2.75%. It's 1 year, I think, but you get your interest up front. And with some of the banks, it's only, with Bank of Ireland, it's maybe just only 1 year, 2 years, and you can access 25% of your money if you need to.
Okay, as everyone's rushing to change their banks and get themselves some savings right now, do you have more questions for Dara? We've got quite a few in already because Dara is going to stay with us to answer your questions. You can get in contact. It's 089 611 111 and we will be answering them very shortly.
Dara, thank you very much.
Thanks,
now, we
Dara.
also have pregnancy hacks coming up to keep you relaxed right up to your due date. See you in a few.
What sort of hack is that? Gina Daly's face. Best of luck to the fabulous Sarah Lavin, who was in that as well. She's fantastic, one of our hurdlers. Now, earlier on, we asked you for your questions regarding all things money.
Joining us again to answer those questions, Dara Cassidy from bonkers.ie. So, Dara, let's jump in. Look at this now. Question 1 for a well-organised person. I'm 25 and I started paying into a pension at the start of the year. Yeah, round of applause. What is a good percentage of contributions to be paying monthly to have a good amount at 60 years of age for retirement?
Yeah, so it's great to see someone as young as 25 to be thinking about a pension, because the earlier you start, the easier it will be. And if there's anyone, viewing who has not started a pension, do it, because it is just so important. I think at that young age, 5% is a great place to start. Remember, on pension contributions, you get tax relief. So what that means is you just don't pay tax on the contributions that you make up to a certain limit. So if you are pulling in €100 a month, the net cost to you may only be actually €60 or €80, depending on if you pay tax at 20% or 40%. It seems a little bit complicated, but what it means is that often if, like I'm saying, you have to pay 5%, it's not going to look quite so bad. Now, if you have a good employer, usually when you pay into a pension, they'll match the contributions. So I'm hoping in this case, the viewer, she'll pay in or they'll pay in 5% and then the employer will match that. Yeah. So actually 10% would be going in. So that would be a great place to start at the age of 25. Now, if the employer isn't matching the contributions, so she's doing it herself, they might want to pull in a little bit more. But listen, to be talking and thinking about a pension at 25 is great. The earlier you start, the cheaper, the easier everything it'll be.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so impressed by you. Huge boss on that one. Question here, where is the best place to save money for your child's future? I am currently using the credit union.
The credit union is a great place. I'm a big fan of the credit union. Lots of Irish people are. When you're a member of the credit union and you're saving, it obviously means as well you can then go for a loan if something should happen. And I think what's great with the credit union is that, they don't always say a computer says no kind of approach. It's the human touch, and they'll work with you in your hour of need, shall we say. Just looking obviously on bonkers.ie, you can check out the best savings rates. There are rates, as we've kind of discussed, of up between 3 to 4%. Raisin is a good place as well to maybe look at pulling your money. So that's kind of like an online marketplace for savings accounts across Europe. And what that means is that you can kind of easily access the slightly higher rates of interest that are on offer from other European banks. So I always think that's a great,
Would you have to be putting in a certain amount in order to get those high higher rates of interest.
With a lot of the raising accounts, it is a lump sum, but they do have some regular savings products. Another point, though, is that if you have a longer-term savings goal, maybe investing in what's called a managed fund would be a good idea, because if this is for the children's education, that could be maybe their college education, so it could be 10 or 15 years away. And what a managed fund does, they're sold by the likes of Irish Life, Aviva, Zurich. You can put in sometimes as little as €100 or €200 a month, and it would invest in a mix of stocks, bonds, shares, and it just means that you have the potential for slightly higher growth. Now, what can go up can obviously go down, but usually if it is a longer term goal that you have, that's another option. Because it just means that, like I said, you have a potential for more growth. So you could get maybe 7 or 8% a year, as opposed to just maybe the 3 or 4% that we're talking about with just a regular savings account. But obviously get good financial advice, because when you're investing as opposed to saving, there is a little bit of a risk there.
Yes, and Joxer goes to Stuttgart Credit Union is absolutely fine.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm trying to save money and pay off my credit card debt. Which one should I prioritise, as it's too hard to do both?
This is a little bit complicated because it depends on a little bit more information, but usually, a problem that Irish people have, or a mistake that Irish people have, is that they might have 10 or 15,000 euro in savings, and then they also have 10 or 15,000 euro in debt. And the interest that you're charged on your debt is going to be way more than the interest that you're getting on your savings. So usually I would say to people is always be paying down your debt, particularly the debt that has the highest rate of interest first. So credit card debt, overdraft, and so on. Having said that, though, everyone needs a rainy day fund, and there's no point either in, let's say, using all of your savings to clear all of your debt, and then God forbid something happens the next week, maybe there's an accident, an injury, and then suddenly you need access to money, but you don't have it. So usually people recommend a rainy day fund of around 3 to 6 months your net disposable income. So if you were getting maybe 3,000 euro into your account each month after tax and so on, that would be anywhere from maybe 9,000 euro to 18,000 euro. Now, obviously, that to some people would be a lot, of money. But so in this case, I guess it's, do you have a rainy day fund? Because if you do have a small rainy day fund, then I would say pay off the credit card debt. But if you don't have a rainy day fund, really, you should be building up a rainy day fund first and foremost. So there's no kind of easy answer, if that makes sense. But so the thing is,
credit card debt is crippling.
It can be, but it is important that you have a rainy day fund. So in this particular instance, if the caller doesn't have a rainy day fund, then they should be continuing to try and set that up and build up that money. And then if they do have it, then obviously start paying off the debt.
Okay, and we've got time for one more question very quickly. I've got 25,000 euro in regular savings account. I'm putting in 200 euro a month, but I'm getting absolutely no return. I'm in my 70s. What should I do?
So 25,000 isn't an insignificant amount of money. There are rates, as we've discussed, of 3 to 4% on offer at the moment. I know AIB, they may be a customer of AIB. They're offering just over 3% over 2 years, I think it is, for people who have at least 15,000 euro. So if this caller was a customer of AIB, they could put the money in there and get just over 3%. Raising, as we've discussed, is another option. Potentially as well, doing something else with your money. So maybe investing in energy efficiency improvements in the home. At the age of 70, though, not to be too negative, you do sometimes have to start thinking about the return. So how long you're going to be around? Because I would always say that retrofits aren't necessarily cheap, and the payback return, it can be several years. So you kind of have to just put that into consideration. But sometimes maybe just new windows, improving the house that you're in a little bit, so that your energy bills, which are still really, really high, go down. That might be another option as well. But definitely with 25,000 euro, it's not an insignificant amount of money. If you go on to Raisin.ie, Bonkers.ie, there's lots of options out there for you to earn around at least 3 or 4%.
3 or 4% in savings account, like we were talking earlier on. Deric Cassidy from Bonkers.ie, thank you so much. Cheers. Thanks very much. And thank you for getting in touch. We love when you send in your messages. We really do appreciate it.
Up next, Deric is getting into the community spirit in Lochgarman. He's going to be bringing us the latest from the Fleadh in just a few.
Hello, Fleadh fever has hit Wexford Town this week with plenty flocking to see what's in store.
And our very own Deric is immersing himself in the music and finding out what is on offer.
He certainly was. He was doing his tin whistle earlier on. What's he doing now? Deric, it's over to you. He's dancing.
Yes, good morning, team, and welcome down here to the heart of Wexford Town, the home of Fleadh, Cheoil na HÉireann 2024. The place is absolutely buzzing. We've been kept entertained all morning by our wonderful dancers here, by Ceoltas Ceoltóirí Éireann as well, all our wonderful musicians, and we're joined now by Ursula Jacob, who is former camogie player with Wexford, and Senan Lila. Senan, you're a blow-in, I believe, all the way from County Clare.
I'm a blow-in from West Clare, but I've been down here for a long, long time.
All right, anyway, we'll start with you, Ursula. It's a big weekend, in fact, for the camogie because we have the All-Ireland final.
Yeah, a feast of camogie on Sunday where we've the three camogie All-Irelands, the senior, intermediate and junior, and what a day in store we have. You know, 6 brilliant teams, all eyeing for that All-Ireland Cup, and I just can't wait. I'm going to be there on the day working, and I just hope we get as many supporters and bums on the seats as possible. But it's going to be a great day, and it's the pinnacle of the camogie calendar.
It's going to be a cracking match, of course. Galway taking on Cork, and Cork were winners last year, hoping to make it 2 in a row.
Yeah, I suppose the challenge last year was for Cork to get back into an All-Ireland and win it. This year the challenge is to retain it, so that's the challenge facing them, and they're going to be going in as pretty strong favourites because their form has been exceptional all year. Galway, though, are well used to performing on the big day as well, and you know, unfortunately for the Galway footballers, men and women, they haven't had so much luck in the All-Ireland, so maybe it's up to the Galway camogie team to get one over Cork.
Absolutely. Now, Senan, you're involved in the Fleadh for how many years?
Well, I've been going to Fleadh since 1974.
Fado, right?
That period I've missed too. Yeah.
How did you get involved then in the setup for the Fleadh Cheoil down here in Wexford?
Well, I think that's a question you really want to ask Paddy Berry, because he dragged me into this and he said, I've got a job for you, and I hadn't a chance to say yes or no, and I found myself in the middle of the whole thing.
And Senan, you're in charge of the gig rig, and I mean, you have so many wonderful live performances on there. In fact, you have a live performance on stage at 12 o'clock here this afternoon.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Well, through the whole week, we have 122 live performances. We had over almost 250 applications to get on the gig rig, and obviously we had to do a vetting process to get it down to about 120. So yeah, it's very, very exciting, and each group gets 40 minutes, and one group is as good as the next, if not better.
Paddy, there's so much exciting young talent down here as well over the few days.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, the various competitions is at the hub of the Fleadh, and we've up to 12,000 competitors, and the vast majority of those are children or teenagers or whatever. And of course, when the competitions are over, they go onto the streets, they go into the various centres, and there's music everywhere. You know, there's music all over Wexford.
I mean, you grew up, now I know you don't play
I definitely
music,
don't.
Ursula, but you grew up with music around you, right?
Yeah, 100%. You know, I've always been someone who's loved listening to music and going to concerts and being here in the Fleadh, and what an honour for Wexford. You know, the last time it was in Wexford was like 25 years ago in Enniscorthy, so to have it back here this time, the music on the streets, the atmosphere, the buzz, and bringing so many people to Wexford, because us Wexford people were very proud of our county, and the sun is shining and the crack is mighty. So
I mean, bang on cue, the sunshine has come out, and I suppose that's what makes it down here. I was down here late last night. I got such a warm welcome on the street. Wexford people well known for it.
Well, that's it. We're good crack, and we're great company as well. And you just meet so many people on the streets. You know, I think that's what's brilliant. You can meet people all from all parts of Ireland, and the likes of Senan and the other people involved in the organising. Huge work has gone into it as well, and we shouldn't forget that, because the week itself wouldn't run without all that work beforehand.
And obviously your daughter involved as well in some shape or form?
Well, she loves bopping away to music, but she's probably too young to be playing any instruments yet, so maybe she'll go down the music route rather than the camogie.
And a little bun in the oven, I believe?
Yes, another one on the way. So I'm the last couple of days when I've been in around with the music, I'm hearing a few kicks, so maybe they're enjoying the music as well.
Absolutely. I mean, as we talked earlier on about the match at the weekend, the O'Duffy Cup, We're expecting a huge attendance, hopefully, fingers crossed, at Croke Park.
Yeah, I'd be hoping that we're going to get anywhere above 30,000, you know, and I'd really encourage neutrals, anyone that's in and around Dublin on Sunday, to get there, because we're going to be witnessing the best camogie players in Ireland. And as I said, it's a great showcase for camogie overall. So hopefully, I hope we'll get in around 30,000 plus at least.
And obviously, you're still with the Sunday game as well, commentating. Busy schedule. It's been a busy season.
Yeah, it's you know, this is the last day of work, if you like to call it. It's been a busy year, a hectic one, but I love it. I've been steeped in GAA all my life, so to be working on the hurling and camogie side of things, it's a great honour, and I just can't wait for Sunday now.
Senan, you've been steeped in music as well, your whole family, for many years.
Yeah, well, I suppose coming from West Clare and a place called Clare, I hadn't much choice really, because there was music everywhere, music and song and dance. And
obviously the Willie Clancy Festival going
and the Willie Clancy, which I haven't missed either, but only once in 1973. So yeah, it's part and parcel of our lives really.
And what makes it so special now that the Fleadh is down here in County Wexford?
Well, first of all, the town itself and the county itself is a fantastic county, and it's tucked away in the southeast corner of Ireland, but it is a wonderful county for a whole lot of reasons. I mean, you could talk about sport, you could talk about culture, you could talk about geography, you could talk about history, and Wexford has it all really here. But I think coming to a town like Wexford, just the beauty of the town, where it's laid out on the banks of the Slaney as it enters Wexford Harbour, and and the history which is filtering through everything that's going on this week here.
And just a train ride down. Number-wise, what are we expecting in terms of the attendance then?
Well, it's amazing that you asked me that. If you go back 25 years ago to Enniscorthy, 1999 and 2000, there were 60,000 people here in Enniscorthy through the course of the week. In Wexford this week, we're expecting 600,000. So, I mean, that speaks for itself, doesn't it?
And I mean, Ursula, hats off to Mullingar, because they've done a great job over the last couple of years. And now, you know, it's your turn now.
Yeah, and I was up at the last two ones in Mullingar, because my husband's a Westmeath man, so we've got the bragging rights now that we're doing the best Fleadh ever. So, look, credit to Mullingar. It was a great couple of years, but it's Wexford's time now, and as Senan said, we're expecting huge crowds.
Absolutely, your time to shine. I believe, Senan, Michael Flatley is coming down. He's making an appearance today.
I didn't hear that.
Michael Flatley. He's coming down.
Oh, is he?
Yes, he is. Well, I was so, look, here's the organiser, he doesn't even know.
Yeah.
I believe he's heading in. So, in terms of the performances then, who's on stage later on today? Who's on the main?
It's basically local groups from around the country, backbone by cultural and groups from Wexford and from other parts of Ireland, really.
All right, OK. Yeah. Well, Ursula and Senan, thank you so much for joining us here. You know Michael Flatley's down here today, yeah? Anyway,
I didn't hire him. He cost 40,000.
Kyoto's already aired to finish us out. But for now, enjoy this, guys. Back to you in studio. Go dance.
I suppose the other Michael Flatley, he's not part of the programme.
Michael Flatley is in his helicopter as we speak.
Does he know he's going there? Michael, if you're watching, make your way to Wexford.
You've got to make an appearance now.
The Fleadh needs you.
Deric,
got to make an
has
appearance
announced
now.
Deric has announced
exclusively announced
it. It's a big secret. They're unveiling him later.
Oh, well done to everyone there. Thank you so much. So high kicking, fantastic.
Yeah, up next here at the show, a tasty treat in the kitchen.
Yes. Yeah, that'll cost you a fraction of a takeaway price.
We'll see you back here very shortly.
Now, there's a classic takeaway favourite on the menu today in the kitchen.
And here to show us how to make her sweet and sour crispy chicken is Gina Daly.
Good morning, Gina.
Hi,
how
guys.
are you?
Good, thank you very much.
Now, I don't want to put you under pressure, Gina, but this is not something I would order.
Me neither. We were all actually saying,
yeah. No, all right, okay.
Not necessarily sweet and sour, but you were saying it's slightly healthier maybe than some of the others.
Yeah, I think when you're going for a Chinese, you usually I usually stick to the same thing and order the same thing. But my kids love sweet and sour chicken, and it's one of those dishes I started to make. It was one that was in my first book that was lower in calories. So if you did like sweet and sour, or if you wanted something different that was easy to cook, it has, you know, you're not using a jar of something, so you know what's going into it. with. So it's fresher ingredients, more budget friendly as well.
Okay, so where have you started here?
So first of all, we're using crispy chicken in it. So I'm going to show you how I make my crispy chicken. It's pretty standard how I make it. Now this mightn't look like your typical thing to make chicken in. So this is a lettuce spinner, and this is something I found is a great kind of hack if you don't like handling chicken, if you don't want to use Ziploc bags and throw the plastic away. If you slice
Mix up everything in it.
So if you slice up your chicken just into strips, and what I'm using for my coating today is golden breadcrumbs. You can find them in any supermarket. You can use regular breadcrumbs. You can use smash, which is a really good one as well. So you know, instant mashed potato in its dry form, you can coat and make.
The mash gets smashed. That stuff.
Really?
It's brilliant for making crispy chicken. So you just season it up
Does
as
it
you
not
would.
turn into potato?
No, don't get it wet.
Oh, don't get it wet, okay.
So it's a similar idea to this. So you just pour in your breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
And then you can add in whatever seasoning you like. I'm using my
Lemon pepper. Gina loves her lemon pepper.
Lemon pepper is beautiful for chicken and fish and all sorts of dishes.
I have to go and buy lemon pepper today.
You say it every week.
I know, and I
I'll
keep
bring
forgetting.
you in one. I'll bring you in.
No, I keep forgetting. I'll buy lemon pepper.
So all you're going to do is you pop it into this. So this has a little basket in it. You pop the lid on. You're going to give it a little shaky. You don't need to add egg or anything like that. So when your chicken comes from the fridge, it's wet enough to bind.
Yeah.
And you just give it a little.
So if you've any little spices in your drawer, you could sort of add it at this stage.
You can add in salt.
But you
and
don't
pepper.
want it too spicy though,
No,
either. Sure you
so
don't,
some
because
of those bits of chicken that I've given you is quite spicy and some aren't. So there you go, look, you'll see it's nice and coated.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
And then any excess, you can hang on to that for your next batch and you can just pop the lid on, it'll stay okay. And then all you're going to do is pop it out onto a baking tray.
So you wouldn't even put any paper down on the tray, just as fine as it is?
Just as it is,
Yeah.
if you're using a metal tray, and then a little spray of oil. Boom, 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 boom. This is just going to get it nice and crispy, and then you lash it into the oven.
How long would you leave it into the oven for now? 'Cause
Small
they need-
pieces of chicken, 15, 20 minutes. Just
Yeah.
keep an eye
If
on them.
You want them to cook through, don't you?
Exactly, yeah. And then if you're doing them in the air fryer, it's a little bit less. So again, it's just you just use your eye. Make sure that you're cooking at about 180, 190 degrees. That it's not going to burn the crisp, and then it's going to be nice and kind of soft inside. So the actual sauce itself, I'm going to start with peppers and onions. I like green and yellow peppers. An onion, just nice big chunks. Fry them off in your pan. And as always, I'm the queen of convenience. So I just use already chopped garlic out of a jar, as much as you like. My recipe is I'm a glugger and a slugger, and I do all these things, so I have to translate.
So is that like chopped garlic, but in a jar? So it's not the dried garlic that you
Not
get.
dry, so it's in a kind of a pickle. So it's kind of adding like to sweet and sour, that sourness to it as well. So you can use less vinegar when you're making sweet and sour. So if you want it spicy, a little bit chilli.
And some of it is quite chilly. So, but as
but
you
if you're
said,
doing
it's
it for
up
the
to your
kids,
own taste.
It's your own taste. So this is a basic recipe, and you can add and take away. Like I have a few different things here. I'll show you what I use. So I add in 3 tablespoons of soy sauce.
Soy sauce, yeah.
And that's nice to cook off your veg. And even if you're doing a stir fry, that's a lovely kind of a base. Then I add in some orange juice, which is my sweet.
Okay.
Again, it's not traditional. It's
Yeah,
just
what
my
would
own take.
traditionally go into a sweet and sour for the sweet?
It's usually like ketchup and vinegar. When I used to know a guy who worked in the Chinese, and his recipe was like ketchup, vinegar, ginger, soy sauce. So it was like, it blew my mind because I was like, really? So I don't really know.
Okay.
I just make it up as I go along, kind of thing. Again, this is passata, or you can use ketchup. I use like 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons of passata. That still is going to give it a kind of a nice balance to the taste. Again, another sweet thing.
Pineapple.
So there's pineapple in it. Not everybody likes pineapple.
No.
It's quite controversial in a recipe. But this is going to give it a nice sweetness. So you just break it up into your dish.
Oh yeah, look.
Yeah.
Then carrots.
I know.
Carrots are in sweet and sour.
Frozen peas are going to go in next.
So what I like to use is a jar of carrots, right? So they're already cooked, they're already soft. They'll mush down into your sauce. So if your kids don't like carrots, they won't even know they're in there. So it's great.
Well, I suppose, yeah.
Some ginger, which is going to give it a nice little flavour. Some oyster sauce, I use this in kind of all the bases of my Asian-inspired dishes. Just
You're
a tablespoon.
just putting anything you have in your cupboard into this.
This is actually a proper recipe. And then a couple of tablespoons or a couple of teaspoons or a few drops. Is
that Worcestershire sauce?
Of Worcestershire sauce. And then you're just going to kind of... Worcestershire sauce. And then you're just going to kind of let that go down.
So I'll get the ones out that we have cooking away.
Mind your hands.
Yeah.
So how long, I know you told us, how long did they spend in the oven?
They took about 2 seconds.
Look at that.
So this is the crispy chicken.
So you just put that into the sauce then, do you?
Yeah, so this is going to take a couple of minutes. It'll take about 10 minutes to kind of come to a boil, reduce down, taste it. What you want to do as well is the sour part to sweet and sour is vinegar. Okay. So I use rice wine vinegar. Put a little bit in first because you can add more, you can't take it away. Taste it when it's done, and if your sauce isn't thick enough, just add corn flour with water and it gives it that nice glossy finish. So that's going to take about 10 minutes to kind of come down. So I'll show you one that I've done earlier.
Okay.
2 seconds. This one isn't hot because I was just hiding it.
Oh, there. So this is reduced down.
Yeah, so you see it has a great colour.
So you put the chicken in it. So the chicken, it doesn't need to go back in the oven or anything like that then, because it's all done.
It's all done. It's got the great colour. Yeah. It's got nice consistency.
It's lovely. It's lovely and tasty.
And then you just serve it up with a bit of rice.
Oh, that chicken is delicious, isn't it?
And your chicken now it will soften. It won't be as crispy when it's been in the sauce, but it's still delicious, still gorgeous.
There you go. Look at that.
And a few spring onions, which are hiding behind my plant.
There you go. That down there. That's fine. Look at that.
Gorgeous.
Delicious, Gina. Absolutely delicious. And it is. It is a bit spicy in certain parts, but it is gorgeous. Thank you so much, Gina.
Thanks,
thank you so much for that. Look at that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gina. Now, coming up next, if you are stressed about packing that hospital bag for when baby arrives, don't worry. We've got a pro in to make it easy.
Yeah, Kim Fitzgerald from Assorted Affair will be here just after the break.
Welcome back. Now, if you're expecting a baby but haven't yet packed your hospital bag, we're going to help you out here.
Yes, because Kim Fitzgerald from Assorted Affair is here to fix all of your pregnancy packing woes.
Is that what they are? Woes?
They are. Well, Kieran just freaked me out with that story, but we'll talk about that again.
He didn't have the pregnancy bag packed. OK, pregnancy bag. What's the most important thing? What do we need inside this?
So the most important thing is to organise your pregnancy bag. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but you can imagine it's all a bit frantic. It's all a bit hectic. You need to put your hand to things and you need to put your hand to things quick. And your helper assistant might need to do it. So if you go, oh, will you grab that such and such outfit? No. So what we're going to do is we're going to literally package it and label it.
Very
okay,
clever.
so this one says little sister. So I've literally got everything in here. I've got a vest, I've got a baby grow, and I've got a nappy. So when your assistant or whoever it is that's there needs to grab it, you just say, will you just grab the package that says first outfit? And out it comes and everything is here.
Oh, right, for
exactly.
the baby.
Rather than rummaging through. Do you know that kind of way? So you want to try and make your life as easy as possible.
How many should you bring?
Oh, I don't know.
Like, should you just
that can be difficult.
First, second, third, fourth, just to be on the safe side?
Bring a good few options. And then what I always say is have some extra options at home already packaged like this.
That is so
if someone's bringing something in.
You know the question that you respond with when they say, grab that baby grow, is what's a baby grow?
And they will tell you, oh, any baby grow, but I mean, don't bring
what's
the
a
wrong
baby
one.
grow? Is that the bit without the arms and legs? With it? Like, are the feet out?
Exactly.
What's a baby grow?
What's a baby grow?
It's the perfect little activity to do as well when you're in nesting mode and you're patiently waiting on your little one to arrive, is just do lots of these bundles. So have some in the baby bag for the hospital and have some at home in case you need to have more brought in.
And I'm assuming you should have stuff in your baby for you.
Yeah, well, we'd kind of do two separate bags. So I would do a baby bag for all the baby bits and then a personal bag as well. And this is also a really good idea for mammies. So if, for instance, you end up stuck in hospital for an extra few days and you need someone to bring you in extra bits, I would have them pre-packed. Make sure the knickers are as big as possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about this an awful lot.
I have had a friend call me crying because her husband brought her in like baby-sized knickers and it wasn't fun, So pack a few little bags like this for yourself.
I brought in the lingerie I bought you for our last anniversary.
Welcome. We're going to get the romance back. Can you imagine?
So you want to be as foolproof as possible. So really lean into that nesting phase and do little packages for yourself and little packages for babies so that you're feeling organised.
Now, you mentioned something, the punami roll.
The punami roll. So this is the punami roll. So in here, I have everything I need to change the baby's nappy, all right? So I'll open it up. I have a little one ready for you there, Kieran. So what it is we've got
baby girl, see?
A vest, yeah.
It's a vest.
Oh,
That's a vest.
Here.
It's a vest.
Yeah, so this is me doing it there. So we've got a vest, we've got a little nappy, and we've got a little baby grow, and we're literally just going to roll, okay?
Okay.
And then you're going to clip.
Vest,
right, it's good
nappy.
practice, yeah. And then roll it down, and then grab the middle button. Yeah, and then, look at this.
Look at
Absolute
that.
pro. The idea behind this is, when I had my first baby, I strolled around Blanchardstown, you know, living my best life. And then all of a sudden I had a punami on my hands, and you're literally down to like one hand. So can you imagine trying to rummage in the bag, find the nappy, find the wipes, whatever it might be. So you're holding the baby, she's covered in, you know, fun.
Yeah, you're putting
so
her
the
in the
idea
sink.
behind this is like you literally just need that one hand pop, and you know you have everything there. Everything's ready to go. So
That's good.
Another lovely fun activity for like big sisters or little sisters or whatever it might be. Like
and they get great crack at the whole idea
like
of the
my
punani
two girls
thing,
helped
so
me do
yeah,
all
they
this
do,
last
they do.
night. Yeah, so
And they love
like
it.
do loads of them, have some in the baby bag, have some in all around the house, have them ready to go.
That's very good.
Yeah, very,
Actually,
very
I have to say
clever.
that's
It is a
very
good one.
punami roll.
It's an enjoyable thing to do as well. It's fun.
What about if you're going away with the baby?
If you're going away with the baby, or any little ones for that matter, this is a lovely hack. I'm sure lots of people have seen this before, but it's just a over-the-door shoe organiser. And the idea is you fill it with all the little outfits. So I've labelled this one with little moon, so this would be nice. I did have a day. I'm pretty sure it's stuck to someone's shoe at this stage. But the idea is you fill it with all the little outfits you need, and then you just fold it up, pop it in the case, and when you get there, hang it up, and then bam.
So say you've got you've got her nighttime.
Yeah, her daytime.
Her daytime.
Swimsuits, whatever it may be. Whether you're going abroad or staying in Ireland, it's a really clever one to make sure you have enough kind of outfits.
It is. This is all. This is life-changing stuff.
But you put everything in
Not
there.
too
Like you
late for
put the
me.
socks, you put the pants, you put the whole lot in there. So like even if they are of an age where they can get themselves ready, you can go and you can grab everything you need.
And do you know what it does as well? It separates clean from dirty. That's the other thing. After a couple of days away, you're like, oh, have those socks been
100%.
worn yet? I don't know. I'll just
Yeah, and it's
wash them off.
really handy. Like so, just literally zigzag it into the suitcase or
also
into
great
the
to
bag.
give them a sense of their own
100%
responsibility to be like, go and get your clothes for
it's
bed.
kind of that kind of unpacking feel.
That is very smart.
It's
You just
good.
roll it up and it's really kind of organised like this.
You could do it for yourself as well,
Okay.
for swimmies.
What do we have? What's going on here?
This is my rod.
Why is your rod?
Okay.
Get away from the rod.
So in the wardrobes, right? So you've got little people coming. You're getting the house ready, and generally in the wardrobes, you know. They look how small the little stuff is. How cute are they, by the way?
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is you're going to add in an extra little rail. So this is just a tension rod, and you just measure it to size. Now it won't work on this rail, but it literally works off tension, like almost a shower rail. And then you have double the hanging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know that kind of way? Because their stuff is only light and small, and you've all this dead space underneath. So yeah,
So you can
now
just buy them
it takes
separately.
about 2.5, 3 kg. So perfect for little items, especially if you've like little girls. You're going to hang lots of dresses. Not so much for the boys, but it's a great little space saver.
Okay, they were all very, very, very good.
Yeah, very clever.
Very
My
handy.
kids can't reach the rail, so it's pointless.
Yeah,
They have
exactly.
to get us up.
Yeah.
So you get a little one. Oh my God.
Little baby one.
Yeah.
Big pants. Love
Big
it.
pants.
Brilliant.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
You're
Came
very
from
welcome.
Assorted Affair. You can find out came from Assorted Affair online. Now over to Alan. What's coming up tomorrow?
Thanks very much. Now, on tomorrow's show, we're going to be coming live from Paris with an interview with the one and only, Kellie Harrington will be joining us. Looking forward to that.
Now, he's the fantasy fan with nearly 2 million followers on TikTok. The actor Stuart Mackey will be stopping by.
And movie man Brian Lloyd will be giving us his top picks of the week. We will see you back here tomorrow from 7 a.m. Hope you have a lovely day.
Have a great day.
Bye. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.